Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is the same date. This is actually just part two. I just, say that for title's sake, intro's sake, whatever. I made an oopsie. Normally I would have just, waited to just cover this again tomorrow. But I was like, no, I already have it queued up. People make mistakes. I'm only human, and y'all know I'm not going to edit, this in. So we're just going to go ahead and cover the story I skipped, and that'll be that. So there we go. From USA Today, 8 artificial dyes will be phased out of U.S. food supply. Health Secretary RFK Jr. says. 8 artificial dyes will be eliminated from medications and the nation's food supply by the end of 2026, including those found in candy, ice cream, soft drinks, and jams, according to Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Excuse me. These artificial dyes, detailed during an April 22nd news conference in Washington, D.C., are used to offset color loss due to exposure to light, temperature extremes, as well as to provide color to colorless and fun foods, according to the Food and Drug Administration, or the FDA. For years, Kennedy has railed against big food and big pharma and blamed the nation's chronic disease epidemic, he loves using that word, epidemic, on additives and junk food, including during his campaign for president in 2024 Democratic primaries, and then as an independent. After he endorsed President Donald Trump, Trump incorporated those ideas into his own campaign, and now they're part of the new administration's Make America Healthy Again agenda. So yeah, I mean, we initially started covering this with the number 3, I believe, red food dye, if I'm not mistaken, which Kennedy railed against, which I think he's right to do so. I also want to say, hey, on this, he is also right to continue to rail against this shit. He is not the only one. I know I did make a bit of a defense in regards to the synthetic dye. But obviously, I'm just a millennial who wants to hold on to his little treats exactly the way they are, and I'm already doomed, so who cares, right? But at the end of the day, I did even then say, this is definitely a good thing. This might be one of the better parts of, his, career path here is getting rid of stuff like this if it goes all the way. The dyes that will be phased out in less than 2 years are FD and C, blue numbers 1 and 2, FD and C, green number 3, FD and C, red number 40, and FD and C, yellow number 5 and 6. In the coming months, the process will begin to revoke authorization of orange B, citrus red number 2, according to the HHS. So, these are all things that, if you're anything like me, you've been probably consuming this shit all your life and you didn't know that it was in there. These are things that also technically don't need to be in there. Okay, yeah, it was red dye number 3. Yeah. These are things that are nice little preservatives, give the food a color and pop, and they're nice and they're well, but overall, they're probably not providing us anything good. They're, if anything, potentially, doing harm to us, so... now, granted, I don't know how deep the stories and studies go in terms of what this is doing, but I know Kennedy has said in the past has linked food dyes and additives to ADHD and chronic diseases such as obesity. At the April 22nd press conference, the Trump cabinet member rattled off a litany of diseases and neurological disorders and appeared to link them to chemicals being added by food and drug industries. And this is where it's hard because it's hey, maybe there's some truth to this, but referencing back to him and his fucking shitty takes on autism, it does make you feel like it's hard to trust him. Even though this is one of those things where other Democrats and other people and health experts are saying, yeah, no, these are bad things for you. They're not doing you any favors. They are not good. They are not wholesome additives. But once again, because this administration is saying it, I can't just full throated give confidence. You know what I mean? It's very hard. In March, Kennedy met in private with leaders of food companies such as PepsiCo, General Mills, Tyson Foods, Kraft, Heinz, and Kellogg's. During that meeting, Kennedy told CBS News that he demanded artificial food dyes would all have to be out within 2 years. Kennedy on April 22nd recalled a conversation with his staff after that meeting with the food industry, leaders, and hinted at an initial reluctance by the CEOs to get rid of petroleum-based dyes. So you hear that, and it's like, oh, what? Petroleum dyes are in your food? It's like, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I said, if they want to add petroleum, they want to eat petroleum, he said. They ought to add it. They ought to add it themselves at home, but they shouldn't be feeding it to the rest of us without our knowledge or consent. I like that one. I don't care. Kennedy Jr. also complained that there are shockingly few studies on the safety of food dyes and other ingredients due to conflicts of interest at the federal agencies he now oversees. It's also worth noting that he and his administration, Trump's administration, have been a part of crippling the FDA, and I feel like that's only going to make it harder for them to implement this shit. It's noted in this article, and it's something I've said before. So it's like, I mean, good luck with this and all these other fucking bullshit endeavors that you might have going on. Even though, yes, this isn't so bullshit, but like, you've already shot yourself in the foot to make it happen. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that is more or less where I can leave it now. Once again, sorry about that. I know this is like a weird add-on episode. You can kind of just call it a part 2, which I think that's what I'll do for title's sake. But yeah, that's it. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. Hopefully I'll see you soon for some more good news. Love ya. Bye-bye.